Have you ever had issues with your parents? Have you ever felt unloved? If you have, hear me out. My name is Josh, and this is my story. Growing up, everyone thought I had a great normal family. I had a loving grandma, 2 sisters, a mum, and we lived in a big apartment. From the outside, you'd think that's pretty normal. Few really knew what really went on in that household. You see, what really was missing was a father. In my childhood, I barely had any memories of him. I couldn't even remember what he looked like. My dad was like a ghost to me. He wasn't there. Why? Well, he was a drug addict. And that meant that he either had to run from the law or he got caught. For the first 12 years of my life, I rarely saw him around, and when I did, it definitely wasn't pleasant. To start off, whenever he showed up, he'd be fine for the first week or 2, and then he'd start acting really strangely. He'd lock himself in his room and behave like a madman. He'd be kicking the walls and screaming violently to anyone who entered. He'd also frequently fight with my mum in front of me and my 2 sisters, verbally and physically. I remember living in fear whenever he was there, not knowing when he'd fly into an episode, or if he'd be sane or crazy, and then he was gone. I remember once when it was late and I was woken up by sounds of people in the living room. When I went to see what was going on, I saw my dad being handcuffed by 2 policemen, and after that I didn't see him for about 3 or 4 years. It was intense. That also meant that I did not know what it felt like to have a father around. To have a dad teach you boy stuff and do guy stuff, to have a dad to look up to have a dad discipline and scold me. I do not have those experiences. And to this day, I'm kinda jealous for people who do. What I really wanted was love. My mum, wanting me not to end up like him, started pushing me. She wanted me to be successful, to be well-mannered, to be perfect, to be anti-dad. For years, I remembered her being frustrated with me, and maybe because she feared so much of me ending up like my dad, that she voiced her frustration at me, calling me stupid or useless when I didn't perform to expectations, or asking me why I simply can't get it like others and to hurry up, or commenting on my weight and saying that no girl would want me if I remained fat. And I soon began to believe in those things too. At school and at church, I looked at my friends and their perfect-looking families with their present dads and supportive moms, and I asked myself, where is the love that I see in their families? Why can't I have that? So I started searching for love. If my family can't give me love, then I thought other people will. I was a goody 2-shoes in front of adults so they'd like me. I was trying to act cool or be really friendly and nice to get classmates to be friends with me. I'd be who they'd want me to be, so that they just simply look at me and maybe, just maybe, they'd give me the love that my family didn't seem to provide. When I was a teenager, I saw my friends getting into BGR, and I thought, this is it. So I started to crave for a relationship. I thought that the perfect girl could make me feel loved forever. I went out of my way to get not just one girl, not just any girl, but all girls to like me. And to my shame, I've done lots of ugly things to get that. And still, these relationships didn't make me feel loved. In fact, it left me more empty. I realized soon enough that friendships don't last forever. Friends become acquaintances, who become strangers, and so this love didn't last. My craving for love grew, and I became more desperate, and it got to a point where I looked like this crazy, deranged, angry man shouting, "Give me love." In my own way, I was turning into my father, and I was completely oblivious about it. Something needed to change. It was when I began serving in this Christian organization called Singapore Youth for Christ that something began to change. I saw something different. These people who worked there, they were happy. They were contentedly happy even without a high-paying job or fame or glory or adoration from people, and that intrigued me. And as I continued to spend time with them, I realized that these people, they remained that way, no matter what circumstance came, be it a broken friendship or a broken relationship forever. I saw that and I told myself, I want that. I want what they have, whatever that is. After some time of knowing me, a close brother told me that I was looking for love in the wrong places. He told me that he used to be like me, but God helped him see from the Bible that these treasures we chase, they will eventually rust, rot, and become nothing. In other words, even friendships and relationships will fade, and to settle for such love in such places is foolish and hopeless. He then told me that if I wanted to look for love that will truly satisfy me, that will last forever, that will stop me from becoming like my dad, then look at two things. Look at myself, then look to Jesus on the cross. He helped me look at who I truly was. More than a madman looking for love, I was God's rebel. I chose to look everywhere for love, but God Himself who truly loved me. And I was actually loving myself, choosing not to love Him every time I chose my own way, my own terms of what I wanted love to be. And that got me nowhere, and that broke His heart. What was shocking was that I was heading for something worse than madness. I was heading for God's judgment, and death was my punishment. And that was right for Him to do so, because just like how my dad was wrong in abandoning his family for drugs, I was abandoning God for my own love. And if I felt angry about my dad, then how much more does God feel angry about me? My friend then helped me look to Jesus on the cross, because that's where everything changed. Jesus was God's only Son, yet the Bible says that God gave His Son, and by suffering and dying on the cross, He took what punishment I rightly deserved and placed it on Himself. I was supposed to be on that cross, but I'm not. And what was given in exchange was a close relationship with God, so close that I can call this God Father, my Father. You know, the ability and the freedom to have a father like that, it's incredible. What's more, this relationship can never be taken away from me. Because Jesus has conquered death and has been raised to life, this relationship with God and God Himself will never disappear or give me fear or shame or anger. That's real love right there. I just had to look at the cross. And with that, my life was changed forever. Hearing the good news of Jesus convinced me to believe in Him and give my life to Jesus. I no longer need to chase after love from family or friends or a girlfriend, or fear getting hurt or rejected, or fear loneliness. And yes, life is still not perfect, like my ongoing struggles with my family, or I'm still coming to terms with my past, but there is now a Father who loves me. And that is enough.